Hey. Okay. We are live. The music stopped. Why did it stop? Oh, yes. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. If the stream wants to start. Okay. There we go. Apparently, we've started. It's going to be a good one. Today, we're going to talk about an amazing artist, Joaquín Sorolla. Sorolla, I don't know. If my Spanish friends in the chat, you have to correct my pronunciation. If I'm mispronouncing, I'm gonna go for the default, kind of English way of saying it, Sorolla, but like a French person trying to pronounce a Spanish name based on like English pronunciation. It's going to be wild. So correct me for my mispronunciation. But hello everybody. Hello Nicole, hello Sniper Lynx, Balsam, Jude and her pencil. Hello to Jude and hello to the pencil. Ah, man. It's good to be back. Yeah, I wasn't there last, what was it, Tuesday? Took some time off. Family stuff, and yeah. But it's going to be a cool one today. Joaquín Sorolla, a great, amazing artist. And why am I making a learning from a master on Sorolla? Well, first of all, because he's a great, an amazing painter. You're gonna find out. And also because, there's always a point in your life, in your career, where you have to, get out of your zone of comfort. And for me, Sorolla is really the type of artist that I'm not. Like the complete opposite. And I want to learn from that. Well, not exactly the complete opposite. You know what I mean? It's kind of a style that I feel that I'm very far from getting. The loose brushwork. Most of the time in the past have been interested in dark inspired settings, and with Sorolla is the complete opposite, and I want to learn from that. I want to learn from what my brain doesn't immediately go to when I think about making art, because I want to evolve, and I want to try to see if I can learn from that, if I can try to make it like kind of, not necessarily change my style, but have a little shift in my artistic personality, how I see painting. I want to paint more sunlight as well, and studying Sorolla is going to be definitely a wonderful thing to do. So you're welcome to join me on this journey towards just studying from a master artist. We're gonna see stuff by Sorolla, but first, well, you know what we have. As always, we have art news. We have to go to art news before, because once again we have, let me see, where is my art news? Here it is. Art news. More drama. So climate protest. So let me put the chat. Let me make it small here. Oh, you're covering my face. So again, no surprise. Isn't that happening every week? It's kind of wild. But hey. So apparently we have more drama. We have more paintings that are targeted for the sake of climate change. And this one is Botticelli. Italian activists on Tuesday stuck photographs of climate change devastation to glass panel, protecting Botticelli's famed Birth of Venus painting at the Uffizi in Firenze. and two activists. It's always the same. It's getting very old. The protest in Italy are part of a series of action across Europe to focus attention on climate change. And I saw a video, not maybe a tweet by some, or an X, you know, an X whatever. And the guy, like, I don't know, random tweet, you know, the guy was asking, why do they never target, you know, the more contemporary modern stuff, like the Damien Hirst, the stuff like that, the Koonings, the whatever, you know, modern, like the paintings that are already provocative. Why don't they do the provocations on provocative paintings or provocative artwork? Why don't they just, you know, make the protest during a Yoko Ono performance? Why? How come it's always the traditional and never the modern art that's targeted? And it was funny, actually. Food for thought. Maybe the traditional feels like part of the problem. I don't know. Maybe it's easier to be provocative with an artwork that's not provocative. I don't know. You tell me. Maybe it has a more shock value. Like, nobody would really see a difference. Like, if you imagine splashing soup on a Jackson Pollock. Would you really see the soup? Really? Like, do you think that the soup would be visible for when the journalists come to take a photo? Not sure. So that's probably why they do that. But man. Okay, so, and it's getting old. There's this article here questioning the kind of the, you know, the value of this. After 38 attacks on art, climate protesters have fallen into big oil's trap. It's time to change tactic, I guess. Repetition has blunted the art museum protest so much that the pumpkin soup assault on the Mona Lisa felt pathetic. More effective tactics are needed. I agree. That's definitely not how you change climate. The people, it's not going to end up like that. And oil is going to only go away when there's no more of it and it's running dry. I can guarantee. So really prepare for the end of it. But like, people are not going to stop using it just because you throw soup at a painting that has not asked anything. How many of these? Well, I'm not gonna just read the entire piece, but so the argument is that it's the oil company's dream. Could it be that because the disconnect with the public is caused by a misalignment between the protest site, message, and intended target that's deeply rooted in historical misconception and a misplaced trust in the romantic myth of the heroic savior. And yeah, I'm in line with this article. I'm not gonna read it all. It's kind of boring to do that, but these demonstrations have been successful because they are focused and specific. The objectives have been clearly matched to targets, and so it's talking about different types of protests, and perhaps it's about time protesters started listening to museum visitors instead of repeating the same unfruitful tactic. And I think they're going to change mostly in the future pretty soon. All right, so next segment. All right, let's see what you think before we jump to next segment, and maybe because, yeah, exactly, for the Pollock, people would think it's part of the art if they splash something contemporary, because yeah. Maybe they feel like traditional art is part of the establishment. How though? It's just so stupid. Perhaps they are targeting national treasures instead of paintings only artists really know. Yeah. Unfortunately, oil, gas, and plastic all have the same source, and alternatives are a tough economic sell. Yeah, well, you're not gonna just whatever it is. It's just way too big to like. Just imagining that you're like a little drop in the ocean, and you want to just throw soup at a painting to sort of make people realize that they need to stop just going to work and they need to stop buying plastic, that they have no other option. And like, that doesn't make sense, but well, whatever, they can do whatever they want. Hello Susan, hello Moses. And well, all right, so next segment then, it's our inspiration of the day. And our inspiration of the day is Joaquín Sorolla. Joaquín Sorolla y Batista was a Spanish painter. Sorolla excelled in the painting of portraits, landscapes, and monumental works of social and historical themes. His most typical works are characterized by dexterous representation of the people and landscape under the bright sunlight of Spain and sunlit water. And that's what that's what we want today. That's really cool because they have a little artist highlight like here, and you can check out the work by Sorolla. Let me just remove this to give you a better experience. Nice. So yeah, this canvas is an exceptional technical feat and also one of the best examples of Sorolla's ability to transmit intense physical sensations and equally intense emotion through this handling of light and color. Yeah, it's sorry. This one is very, very simple, but really works very well actually. Not the kind of Sorolla that I'm most inspired by, but you can see how simplifying brushstrokes, simplifying the colors, and also finding variety even in the most boring, stale beige cream kind of color. There's a lot of nuance in warm and cool. It's way more complex than it looks. This painting has a very, very complex chromatic range, even though it feels just so simple. It's crazy. But we're gonna just dive deep in the paintings later. This is just the little Google presentation. So this is more the Sorolla that people imagine when we talk about Sorolla. So you have this very nice, nice view of the sea, the waves, the color of the water. Really feels so much like Spain, and yeah, this is what made him famous. Sorry, I'm gonna cough sometimes, from time to time, so you have to forgive me for that. It was not very common at the time. You had the Impressionists, and Sorolla is part of the Impressionist, you know, the big movement of the Impressionists, not the French kind of core group of Impressionists. But he was a part of the, you know, the spread of Impressionism, the impressionistic approach in Europe, and he was the one of the first ones. Monet did some, but with Sorolla, the emphasis on the sunlight and also the realism of the sunlight is really something that was never seen before. So it's super cool. These, like the shades, how much color is there in the shades? It's just fascinating how this, all these brushwork, this is just fascinating. I want to learn from this brushwork. I'm gonna skip here. This is just a little presentation. I'm gonna go to a more detailed view afterwards. So we're just gonna go for a little, you know, a little slideshow first and see a little bit what we can learn later on. I'm gonna go into, you know, detailed analysis and dive more into the brushwork, because this is what I really want to learn from. This very loose brushwork, man, this is what I want. It's tough for me because I'm such a tight painter. What would you say, tight or loose? What kind of painter are you here in chat? Tight or loose? I'm so happy Sorolla is my favorite of the old masters. Yeah, really a wonderful painter. So much to learn. This is the kind of Sorolla that I like, is also the geometry, very powerful geometry, and this is something extremely valuable. His paintings, they work not only because he has kind of the light, a light that's even better than Monet, but he also has composition that's even better than Degas in some cases. The diagonals, the energy, there's always something interesting and dynamic to look at, very eye-catching. Always. So we're gonna look also at the composition. The composition is not what you think is Sorolla's main point, but really look at the angles are always so wild. So this is more a kind of a little portrait. Okay, I'm gonna let you pause this if you want. See, that's what I'm talking about with the composition, the angles. He always has such, you know, smart way of using geometry in a way that feels natural. It never feels sharp, but always feels realistic. This is, whoa, this is the kind of ultra loose stuff. This is what I'm talking about. I can't not do that. I can teach painting all day long, but I can't do that. Well, I can't achieve that. Like, well, obviously I could try to copy and imitate, and if you want to see it, that's what we can do today. But man, whenever I'm doing painting on my own, like I'm just enjoying my painting time and doing what I want to do, this is never what comes to my mind, like leaving the brushstrokes and doing an entire dress with one single stroke like that, like the white dress here. Man, it's out of my, it's out of, you know, my system. See, again, the geometry, look at what I was talking about. This one is great. Again, amazing diagonals, always so strong, and because of the shadows, it's always pretty pretty natural. You can play on diagonals just by placing the sunlight diagonally. But he does it so well. Always feels so natural. It's not easy. Like, you have the wind, the energy of the wind. I hope we can see this one more in detail. We'll go back. So a more neutral. So this is his son, and so he has a museum. Okay, so he has a museum, and I think that they have a Sorolla museum. Centenario. Oh, okay. So yeah, well, you have even more. You have even more paintings. The Sorolla Museum, and sometimes they have the virtual tour. I don't think they have. Well, you have the timing of the opening hours if you want to visit. If you're ever in Madrid, can only recommend. So, wow. What I love is this kind of brushwork where you find colors even in the shadows. How bold is it to put green here? I don't think I would, if it was my painting, I wouldn't leave it like that. To be honest, sometimes being loose is just accepting to leave something and not putting more work, not overworking. I would never stop working at this stage, but as you can see from a distance, if you take your distance with the painting, it works. Hello, Aurelia. Okay, so this one we saw. Yeah, water reflections, crazy brushstroke. This is typical Sorolla. Not overworking and leaving the brushstrokes, you know, very fluid, very natural looking. Again, wonderful diagonals, purple shadows. This is a theme that we're gonna see a lot, I think. And you know, visible, very little attention to detail, whatever is like maybe a camera, something like that. But yeah, shadows full of colors. That's one of the themes that we'll see. Oh, one of this also kind of how do you call how do you call that when light goes like that? A little spluttering of sunlight. How is it called? Like this light effect where the sun goes through the leaves, or the, you know, the creates these little light effects on the surface. How do you call that? I don't even know how it's called in French. Maybe there's a word. Also, the transparency of the white fabric, always so amazing, man. Yeah, I love this artist. Yeah, I need to take inspiration, because that's really something that I love. Would love to do something like that. Okay. This one we saw, this one we saw, this one. Okay, this one also, yeah. Another amazing Sorolla. Another feature of his paintings is this, you know, the sand and very shallow water from the waves just moving back, and you have a very thin layer of water, so you see the sand and and it creates these effects. This feels so almost photorealistic. It's insanely well done. Look at how realistic it feels. But it's when you're up there, look at that. It looks like nothing. But the colors are, it's actually extremely sharp. It's, oh my god, how do you do that? It's extremely sharp. But the colors, the values are so dead on. Like this shadow here. This is the shadow, the cast shadow from the girls. This is the reflection in the thin layer of water. This is the color of the sand that's still visible underneath because it's just so shallow. And if you put and see the reflection cuts. Wow, there's so much to learn here. The reflection of the little girl cuts the shadow in half, so it blocks. Oh my god. My head is just exploding right now. That's actually physics 101. Light reflection, refraction, etc., etc. Like, but for painters, applied for painters. So the reflection of the girl here crosses the cast shadow of this other girl, so it blocks the reflected light from the sky, which creates this blue overcast color here. So the shadow is blue, except that here, with the reflection of the other girl, it blocks the light, the reflected light. So all of a sudden, this cast shadow, this part of the cast shadow, that's kind of a cross between the reflection and the cast shadow, all of a sudden this gets black. And it's insane because you have to capture that so fast. But it's almost photorealistic. Well, not photorealistic, because photorealistic is actually going for extremely high detail. But here is just extreme color accuracy and understanding of light that's just beyond imagination. Gosh. I had the same feeling of my head exploding when I examined the painting reel. When you're close, you see thick swirls of random paint. Yeah, my god, imagine being there and seeing it. How big is this one? Let me see. How big? They're not giving the dimensions? What? Uh-huh. Okay, maybe you have to click on the extend. I don't know how big it is, but man. So this was more kind of his older style, I would say. This is super cool. The reflection of the sort of the river water, the greenish undertones, the reflection of the sky, the yellow, and the swirls. They all look so random and so, you know, but my god, they are actually so color accurate. So this is more the older style. His older style when he was more kind of a little bit more sharp, a little bit more kind of Bouguereau inspired, I would say, but kind of Bouguereau with impressionistic tendencies. His older kind of style, also very good, but not what he became famous for. I think making that his entire career wouldn't have made it as relevant as switching into that like shadows or days. This looks so great. Not just good at painting sunlight, as you can see, also extremely good at painting any type of light. My wife and children, look at that. Oh, this is the kind of stuff that I couldn't do, like leave a face unfinished like that. I would have a hard time. Self-portrait. nice. Again, great diagonals, water stuff. Oh man. All right, so let's see some more paintings. Now I can go with my little tablet, and I can start analyzing more in depth. This one is also extremely famous from Sorolla. Man, what can I say? What can I say? The first thing that I want to say is I don't know how straight this this picture is based on I don't know how straight the reproduction is, but look at that. If you look carefully, the horizon line is not exactly 0 degrees. It's not perfectly straight. Actually, this line here is straight. So I don't know how did the reproduction. Do you think the reproduction is messed up, or do you think it's intentional? I have never seen this painting in real life. But well, let's not talk about the composition with the lines and all. There is so much to say here. Extremely interesting diagonals. I mean, there is a clear energy line that follows these guys. These are the main characters. Clearly there's a sort of an energy line movement going in this direction. So yeah, this works definitely. But let's talk more about the colors here, if you allow me. How do you make this this type of light effect? Let me just pick up. How do you make these extra cool light effects? Well, first of all, you have so you have sunlight everywhere, but no sun is directly visible, but you have traces of the sun, traces of his overarching presence in the entire scene. So here you have huge reflected light. Can you make my... Here you have huge reflected lights here. You have specular lights all over the place, like bouncing on most of the objects. You have a reflected version, a little version of the sun, a little burst of light scattered, so it creates this kind of sprinkling effect, which is really cool. You also like the light piercing through the sheets here, the sort of yellow ochre kind of cut sheets, but you see how they appear like that. They're actually much thicker and more opaque than you think, but the light of the sun is just so strong that when you look through it, it just feels all illuminated with this yellow light, almost. You also have, hold on, we're not done. You also have the aerial perspective, and you have some very bold purple mountains in the background. Why not blue? In theory it should be blue, but the sun is lower, so the blue slowly shifts towards red because the sun is setting slowly, but still, you know, still a lot of sunlight left. Still very warm, you know, this very warm Spanish evening, but there is already a slight discoloration towards red in the distance, and this is what you see. So already making this scene look very realistic, and also it balances out with the color of the water, which is very blue, very almost cyan here. Then, man, you have touches of blue and touches of cyan sprinkled all over the place. I hope it's not too pixelated, but you see the little touches, specks here and there in the clothing, as reflected lights. Here in the sailors are just reflected lights galore. This is almost pure yellow. This is almost blue-green, blue-gray. And then after that, for color harmony, you have this red carmine color, very intense, but it frames it all. The color of the blood of the fish. And it just doesn't feel gruesome in this case, because it's just a nice warm enveloping blood red. It's a nice warming carmine. You have this sky that's just too warm to be blue. The sky is just, do you know this moment when the sky is, yeah, it's just too warm to be blue? You know, this atmospheric effect of how the clouds are just full of, you know, heat. So you have this as sort of the ceiling of the painting, all this yellow stripe as the ceiling of the painting. And on the ground you have the bottom, the floor, covered with this crimson color. Amazing painting. I could look at this painting for days, but let's look at another one. Let's see. So this one is a more kind of an older style. We can have a look at it. Man, we can have a look at it. My God. Now I want to stay in Sorolla, you know, more the kind of Sorolla that I think is the main one. Oh my God, this one. Oh my God. Hello, Annelise from Brazil. It seems like he used the tops to start from. I don't know, man. Jeez. How do you create that? So, I didn't double check with chat. How do you call this light scattering effect here? Sunlight scattering. Is there a word for that? Because if there isn't a word, we should call that Sorollaism, or the light has been Sorolla'd. Well, you know what I want to you know what I want to say. The light has been Sorolla'd. Sorolled. Have you Sorolla'd your painting? Yeah, it's been Sorolla'd. Sorolla'd. It's been Sorolled. You know what I mean? This. Gosh. Look at this glorious sprinkling of delicious light. Oh my God. My friends, I love this painting. I love this painting. Man, this one is a bomb. Okay, so how do you make a painting like that? First of all, this is absolutely insane, because you take the most shapeless thing that you can find anywhere, the most shapeless things. These sails here, they are fixing up, you know, sails for the boats. I don't know how they're called, but this fabric thing is kind of the most shapeless object you can imagine, and you make it the center of your entire painting. It's wild. So then how do you make it? How do you make it alive? How do you make it feel alive? First, you have to give it a shape. So you have to make sure that you have the shadows, you have the folds, the crease. You have to make sure that you have a good representation of the volume, even though it's very shapeless and, you know, hard to grasp what is everything here. But you make it three-dimensional, and then this is how I would make it. But I don't think Sorolla did that. Is you add the little sprinkling of light, and you add the little touches of white, and you make sure that whenever you're using a Sorollized, exactly, we're going to call it Sorollized. In Japanese it's called komorebi. I love when Flow Fan goes out for art. Yeah, I'm gonna yeah, I can do that for days. And yeah, I'm glitching on a painting like that. Dabbled light, mottled light, fragmented light, dappled, dabbled, dabbled, dappled, dappled. I have dappled, dabbled, or dappled. Dappled. We'll call it Sorollized. It's Sorollized light, because he did better than anybody. And when you make Sorollized light, you make sure that this light here, let's take this. Actually, I can actually go like that. So this light here, and see, these are two different lights. I don't know if it's not really very visible, sorry. See? So you make sure that every time each object has its own specific color for its dappled light. For example, this one, it's a green. Super important also, but this it's getting complex, it's getting tricky here. You also have to study leaves. Oh my god, yes, you have to study leaves, because most of the time they are responsible for this effect on the ground. Most of the time it's coming from the leaves, so you have to understand how leaves work. When light hits through the leaf, it gets yellow. When it's in the shadow, it gets more green, more chlorophyll. And when it gets really receive no light, it almost gets bluish. So you have to understand this sort of triad of colors, and you scatter them. You create your dappled light with this, making sure that you have yellow. So when the light pierces through, it's yellow. When you have shadows, it's green, like that, kind of middle green. And when it's deep in the shadows, or when it's a different type of foliage, then it gets bluish. And you want to alternate with the three, mostly these two, the green and these two. And man, and creating that is crazy, because it almost feels like a photo, you know, when the sky is blown out, because the sensor of your camera is not capable of capturing, you know, if you've done photography, you know that for sure. And I know I'm talking about, like, if you know anything about photography, I'm saying stuff that you understand. Exposure is a B word and it's tricky to get the perfect exposure for all the things in your frame at the same time. You can't get the landscape well exposed if this, which is less light, is well exposed. So you have to choose what you want to expose well. And if you, for example, if you want, like, if with a camera, if you want to expose for the landscape in the background to get the blue sky, then all the foreground would be very dim and would look very much in the shadow, even though it would be underexposed. And with this, if you expose your foreground properly, then obviously the background is going to be overexposed, because you open more, you open the diaphragm more to expose the foreground properly. And it's insane. The genius of Sorolla is that he got that, but without a camera. Maybe he used photo, but he couldn't have used color photography at the time. How do you understand exposure before it's even an actual problem for photographers? Just double check, but I don't think that color photography was on point for Sorolla to use it in, what was it? The time of this painting. You can double check if it's possible that he used color photography, but I don't think that color cameras were on point at the end of his lifetime. I don't even think there was color photography. When was Kodak color films invented? He died in 1926, if my memory is right. When did he die? He died in 1923. When was color photography invented? Or just available in Spain? I mean, how can you be so on point creating photorealistic images like that? And it almost feels like, you know, it almost feels photographic because there's also kind of a less focus in the background as well. So, you know, you have the depth of field. 1950s. He took the picture in his mind and that was it. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, pretty simple. I'm wondering why I never thought about that. Just take the picture in your mind. The pictures that I take in my mind look nothing like that, man. How about this one? This, my friends, is very well known to photographers as well. It's very famous, legendary golden hour. The golden hour is the best time of the day to take pictures because the colors look more warm, the shadows are less harsh, so you don't get, you know, a angry little man mustache under the nose like that. You know what I mean? Sometimes when the light hits like that, you have this little under the nose mustache of shadow that doesn't look great. You have strong, you know, eyeshadows because of the sunlight hitting directly. And the sunlight is very strong, so most of the time part of your face is overexposed, the rest is underexposed, the light is super sharp. With the golden hour you don't have anything of that. You have this soft enveloping light, really nice hue, warm feeling. Yeah, really, it's not called the golden hour for nothing. Am I crazy, or are all these horizon lines not straight? Am I drunk? Am I not seeing straight? You tell me. Am I not seeing straight, or is this on purpose? Because that would be crazy smart. It's almost like you're moving with the sea, and you're not even in a boat. Maybe you just didn't care? Let's see, do we have another sea horizon? Just checking something. Just so here, I don't know. Not really visible, so in the background. Here we already saw this one. Huh. Okay. Nah. Can't really check if it's on purpose or if it's just the bad reproduction that I got. Man. It's not a straight horizon, no, but maybe it was his painting angle. Man, I'm questioning reality right now, because I know that if I had to start a landscape, the first thing that I would check is that my horizon line is straight, but he didn't care. Let me remove my face, because I'm just blocking the view and you don't need to see me. Okay, yeah. There's a lot of balance and imbalance here in this painting. So maybe it's on purpose to sort of create a sort of a balance-unbalance effect, counterweight almost. Let me take the painting and make it smaller. Maybe it's straight and it's just the photography. Maybe I'm just getting crazy now. I think it was straight. It's just the photo was poorly taken, probably cropped. But man, great cutters again. And great simplification, but still almost photorealistic textures with such ease. And this is my dream. This is my dream. Achieving this would be my dream, man. Put grid lines on it and see if it's straight. My question is it really straight? Like, if you're actually looking at the painting in real life, is this actually straight? Is it just the photo? Because I know the photo has a slight tilt, but sometimes, you know, the reproductions, you have a little bit of everything. This one is also amazing. For anyone who's saying, well, he was only painting the sea, it's always funny and interesting to, like, it's always easy to paint a sea scene, a seascape, because the sea is already something that people enjoy looking at. So if you paint the sea, it's easy. Well, it doesn't have to paint the sea, it doesn't have to be purely in the sunlight to make interesting color feel real. This is exactly what being in the shadow on a nice sunny morning in the park feels like. This color of the shadow is just genius. This entire color of shadow. Let's actually have a look at all this, because there is just so much to learn. Hold on. My god. It's a masterclass on color and light. And so let's put all these colors here. So this is this here. So these would be the colors of the ground, almost. You also have a more greenish, slightly greenish version here. Colors of the water, you have the reflection. So in the water, you see the reflection of whatever is here. So this here is actually the reflection of the trees. And the reflection is way intense, way more in the dark range here. Here you have the top of the trees, it stops there, and here is the reflection of the sky, actually. Okay. But if I give you these colors, I can assure you that you're not going to paint something like that. Well, if you're Sorolla, you are, but of course you have a very nice, very interesting effect here. And you have one of the greatest things, most difficult thing to do, something that I don't even like. Sometimes I say, do I really want to paint a white object in the shadows? Because I know it's going to be complicated. Because look at what we have here. Look at what we have here. This is white. This is all white. So don't worry. This is all white. No, nothing to see here. It's just a white dress. What do you think? It's a white dress. Yeah. Nothing to see here. Well, you just paint a nice white dress in the shadows. No worries. It's going to be pretty easy, right? Look at that. Okay. That's a good that's a good selection of colors. None of them is white. And yet the dress looks perfectly white. Do you understand now why sometimes when I have a white object in the shadows, I sort of think, hey, what if this object was not white? Would make it simpler. I cheat sometimes. When you work with imagination, you can just, you know, pick and choose. Do you really want to paint a white object in the shadow? Do you? Well, have fun. Have fun dealing with that. Have fun. Sorry. Went too hard. So hard that I lost my painting. Okay. It's there. Are we really? Like, if somebody says to you, asks you, what do you think is the most difficult thing to do in a painting? You can show that. %100%. And there's even a part that I haven't caught here. This here, look, the sort of transparency, the transparency of the dress lets a little bit of the skin show through. And he got that. He got that. This is the little skin color, like showing through, like peeking through the, you know, the white fabric. He caught that. Oh my god. Like and subscribe before we move on, because man, I'm gonna need a lot of support if I want to attempt to paint more like Sorolla. Did I dare to say that I want to learn from this guy? Oh god. It hurts my brain already. Let's talk about the green. Let's talk about all this. Okay, let me remove all this, because of course, this entire color range, all the colors that we've seen before, they only work as part of the context. And the colors of all this bottom side only make sense because the colors of this top side also make sense. The color of the illuminated side. And here you have the color of the sand, this nice ochre, kind of salmon color. Here, pinkish ochre almost. Kind of the rust, the color of the rust here. You know, when the water drips, it leaves this little rust mark. The kind of sculptures here, ornaments, and the green, and it all meets up here, and this is what creates the dynamism. If you think the subject is the lady, you're wrong. The subject is this. The subject is this meeting area with all the waves. This is what the painting is all about. the painting is about the dark side. I am your father, and here is the Jedi and the dark side meet. That's the subject. This here. I don't know why the dark side just made me think about Star Wars, but it's really no. Yeah, there's absolutely no connection. I'm losing my mind because how amazing this guy is. Nice portrait. I'm not gonna analyze this one. Oh, okay, just the subject's just a reflection. Pretty cool. Pretty mind-blowing here as well. Here is great effect of light. I'm not such a big fan of this one. So this one we saw already. What I want to... Oh, this one looks amazing as well. This one looks amazing as well. I don't know. Oh man. The subject, the composition, it all drags you down here. You're attracted to this part here. Looking at what's happening there, fixing something. Don't know exactly what's going on, but fixing a boat, fixing a mast, fixing whatever. How does it work? How does it work? How does it work? Let me know, let me know, let me know. Oops, sorry for the sound. A little bit of a hiccup here. Oop. Sorry. Okay. I guess it's just about being there, seeing it, experiencing it. But how do you do that? Like painting plein air like that? When you paint outdoors? So I'm gonna assume that he took his little painting gear, went on the spot, saw these guys working, and asked, "Hey, guys, hola, can I paint you? Can I paint you while you do your stuff?" But it's probably going to be done in an hour or two, or maybe 10 minutes and they're done. So you have to just capture the moment, almost like a camera, but you're the camera in this case. So I would understand, like, if you get a camera, you take a picture and then you go back to your studio and take your time and just, you know, just do your painting and just make sure that you have everything and try to remember how the scene felt while you were there. But here's different. You have to go there. You have to capture the light as it appears, as you feel it, as you experience it. But then it's gone, because maybe it takes, like, how much time does it take to make? Like, even for an absolute genius, it takes like 2 to 3 hours to paint something like that. But the light has so much time to change, especially sunlight like that. So you have to be very quick, or you have to be amazing at memorizing. Not only, so I'm going to talk about memorizing. Memory, visual memory is way more important than we think for artists, and it's a subject that's often overlooked. But your visual memory is something that you use way more than you think. You use your visual memory every time you make art, for everything. And you have short term, like little burst of visual memory just from moving your head. Think about it. Whenever you're looking at your model, you have to stop looking at it when you're at your canvas. So I'm looking at my model here, I'm staring, and then I have to look away if I'm working on my canvas. So it's short-term visual memory. And it's hard enough. Sometimes it's what makes people struggle. Like, people actually struggle with that, and they think, well, painting is not for me, you know, I don't know how to improve. Sometimes it's just about just improving the visual memory. I'm a mom of two, don't talk to me about memory. Nah. And in this case, talking about visual memory, it's visual memory, but it's long term. It's a special talent. You have to train that, or be an absolute mastermind of a painter, which is the case here. To just take a big burst of almost absorbing all this light and holding it while you do your painting. It's almost like that. I almost feel that it's that. Except in this case, he can just absorb the light, painting quick, and you get that. And when the painting is done, I'm pretty sure that the light on the scene had nothing to do with what we see here. I'm pretty sure. Would you just paint in all the light and dark and work later on the color? Huh, maybe that's a strategy. Some people, what they do is they have sort of a sketch version in situ, so they go out, take a little very simplified kind of color sketch that would be this, but you know, 10 times less defined in terms of, you know, resolution and detail, and they would just then go back to the studio and work on the more finished piece on a bigger canvas and make it a more complete thing. I've been painting for so many years and I still feel like a beginner at times. When I look at that, I do feel like a complete beginner as well. But, you know, everybody has their talents. Like, plein air painting like that is really something kind of special. What I want to take inspiration from is not necessarily this side, but I would just want to tell you about the genius that it takes to make this happen. It's insane. Observe, plan, paint. It looks spontaneous, but most definitely isn't. Painting loosely is to use your brain much more than your brush and paint with your whole arm and at arm's length. I think he painted a rough sketch capturing the light and then refined it in the studio. And yeah, of course, that's the most common way to work on this kind of stuff. But still, because I know this tactic. I know a lot of plein air artists, modern plein air artists that do that. They do a little small version outside and do a bigger version in the studio, and sometimes they take a photo, you know, just to make it sure that they have what they need if they need to work on certain aspects of the painting later on. But Sorolla had to put everything in his extremely long-term memory. So you have to memorize the scene. What do you memorize from the scene? Even if you make a small sketch in situ and work in your studio later on, you still have to work so much out of your memory, what do you keep in mind? How do you work? What do you memorize exactly? Do you memorize the details, or do you memorize the feeling, the impression? I think the impression is what it takes. And you can compose. Maybe this guy was never there, the guy with the hat. Maybe this older dude here was never there. Maybe Sorolla saw him at the market later on. Who knows? But he just sketched him in his little sketchbook and had this idea and found that later on back in the studio that, hey, this guy would look great to sort of frame the composition and sort of block the view from this side. What matters is you have the, you know, the feeling, how you felt the impression. It's really the definition of impressionism and the definition of, in this case, luminism, which is why what this movement has been called. Sorolla has been sort of labeled as post-impressionist, just to clarify, post-impressionist. So after the main wave of impressionism, French impressionism, you know, the Monet, the Caillebotte, the all the guys from impressionism, and so in this case it's post. But sometimes some art historians call this movement luminism. It's in the title of the stream that you clicked on, so I called it that way as myself, but I don't know. I don't think Sorolla ever thought about that. I think he was indeed interested in painting light, sunlight especially. I don't know. I don't think he called himself a luminist, but that's what it's sometimes called. Kind of this specific focus on sunlight and sun and light effects within the Impressionist movement, the second wave of Impressionism, sort of. Let's have a little break because I wanted to have a little announcement to for you before we move on. So hold on, give me a little bit of time to bring you just a little announcement, because we are going to have a okay, yes, I'm going to make a little announcement, and yes, you guessed it, our next guest for Double the Art will be, hold on. Our next guest will be the amazing, next guest for Double the Art will be the amazing Brooke Cormier from Canada. And we are going to be live streaming together next week, next Friday. So mark this in your calendar. You don't want to miss this. Brooke is an amazing artist, and it's going to be a very fun session. I'll leave you all the, you know, the Discord link invites. I'll put notifications all over the place. And I sure hope that you'll be there, because it's going to be a fun one. And Brooke is an amazing artist. She has a great sense of humor, so it might be fun. Apparently she's never streamed, so it's going to be a first. So we're gonna do a nice streaming session together. Yes, I love her. Okay, sorry, I need to be there. I want to. Okay. Yes. Yay! People in chat are happy. Yeah, that announcement looks amazing. I just took one of Brooke's photos. I'm sorry, like, yeah, she looks amazing. So I just took one of her photos on her website and just put my face in there, so that's all I did. But that's my normal double the art kind of kind of setup. And yeah, so that's what we're gonna do. Next week will be yeah, next Friday, the 20, what is it? I don't think it's Bouguereau's students who started Impressionism. Bouguereau was kind of a different kind of different kind of crowd at the time. But the Impressionists were, most of them were went to learn with the academists of the time, but then they were rejected by the academists, and they sort of founded their new school, their new approach. So the Impressionists started as, you know, they learned back in the days you had to go to the same art schools or the same ateliers, not art schools actually. You went to the academic ateliers like everybody else. But when the Impressionists wanted to have their work exhibited at the Salon, at the time the big art events were the Salon, so you had to be accepted at the Salon. And the Impressionists, most the work of the Impressionists back in the days were rejected because they didn't follow the codes of academic classical artwork, so they were rejected. So you had the Salonards and the Refusés. The Salonards were those who were selected and admitted to the Salon with, you know, academic classical painting. And the Impressionists went their own way and created their own fake kind of Salon, only for those who were rejected. And this is how it all started, like the first wave of Impressionism with, you know, all the Monet and all the guys. And at first, actually, Impressionism first started as a derogatory, sorry if I'm mispronouncing, derogatory word. It's hard to say for me, I don't know why. It started as a sort of a derogatory word, kind of mocking them for creating paintings that were mere impressions. And actually, this is what became the more relevant art form in the end in the history of the 19th century. This one is great as well, but really this is the one that I wanted to focus on. And yeah, if I'm making a study, I think I'm gonna choose this one. And you tell me about this one, because it feels almost abstract to me, but I just love it. What do you think about this one, man? Like, really, in my head, there is just so much to learn. The Salon Refusé. Le Salon des Refusés, exactly, Richard. The Salon des Refusés. So it's just their exhibition, they called their exhibition Le Salon des Refusés. Well, there were the Salon des Refusés was created actually as kind of it was an official thing. You had like an on festival and off, you know, when they had like both cases. You had the Salon des Refusés. It's a different thing. It was not created by the Impressionists, but the Impressionists created their own movement, trying to just say, well, we don't even care about going to your salon anymore. We're gonna do our own thing. We're gonna create our own completely new style. The Salon des Refusés was created by the emperor at the time as sort of a way to open open the kind of the range of paintings that were presented so that the public could see both the selected artworks and the refused artworks. So you had the option to do the salon de refusés. Okay, can you paint as fast as Sorolla? Man, yes, I can. With a lot of training, but yeah. Can I paint as fast? Can I paint as fast and as good? No, absolutely not. Never in my entire life. Can I paint as fast? Yes, I can. Is it ever going to be looking as good if I paint this fast? Absolutely not. It's going to be horrible. Prepare yourself, Damien. It's going to be horrible. Don't be shy. Well, I can try. I can try. I definitely think that that I would benefit from working on that. Not being as good, but just working on this aspect of my painting, just loosening up and opening up to a more, you know, loose style. James Gurney would be a good collab. He's great at capturing light. Absolutely, he's a beast. He's not okay for live painting, but I'm gonna ask him to do a sort of a collab sometimes. He actually, I reached out and he said no for the streaming aspect, like doing a live performance. Just didn't want to. I love those little moments of Florent ready to fight. Am I ready to fight? Fight against myself? Fight against a good challenge? But look at that. Do you get why this one is my favorite? Maybe because it's this nice cyan here. It just looks gorgeous, doesn't it? Look at this. Yeah, it's almost cyan, I think. It's almost pure cyan. This blue. All this ochre. What I love is the face simplification. I need to learn from that because this is not the kind of stuff that I can do. Whenever I'm doing a painting with a face, any face, it's just so hard for me to let go and leave that. But when you look at it from a distance, it's okay, because the face is not the subject, the people are not the subject is just the light, the atmosphere is the subject, the ambience is the warmth, the nice shade protecting them from direct sunlight and creating this overcast atmosphere. This is the subject. Not the faces, not what they're doing. Whatever they're doing, they're probably doing some type of embroidering. Or and the kids are probably playing something. I don't know. Who cares what they're doing, really? That's not the subject. And this is something that I have to learn also. It's stop focusing that much on the subject and make the image appear and think later. The cyan. The almighty cyan, Susan. The almighty. Whenever there's cyan, I'm just happy. I don't know. I don't know. I'm a simple man. I like cyan. I wonder how he created it. Do we have can we Google what palette he used? I'm gonna Google it. I'm not sure ChatGPT had has a clue. Okay. Oh my god. Yes, it's all painted in situ, my god. So I'm on sorollapainting.com. Sorollapaintings.com. He was not a slave to technique, truth, and sincerity were his key objectives. Sorolla painted very, very fast. I feel personally threatened. I could not paint at all if I had to paint slowly, he once said. But see, I have to learn from that. I have to be faster, definitely. I have to go quick. Because sometimes the subject emerges out of your first impression. I often say, yeah, give it 2 days, give it 3-4 days, but sometimes you just lose track of your main impression. And I've been struggling recently with that. I know my style has always been very carefully crafted, layered, huge focus on subject, but I want to learn from this quick approach. Doing it in situ, in the moment, living in the moment. Besides Sundays, he would work 6 to 9 hours a day, often standing in the full glare of the sun dressed in a suit. Yeah, that's... I couldn't do that. Amazing paintings of him painting in situ, actually. This is wild. This is wild. Did not have a set idea of how painting would turn before he started preferring to build up the composition as he went along. Okay, palette. We are here. Palette. Let's look at the palette. In terms of color, from about 1900 onwards, Sorolla dropped the earth pigments. No. My babies. So his palette consisted of cobalt violet? Cobalt violet? Really? I'm so surprised. My mind is blown. Because I'm talking about cobalt violet actually in the video that's coming up tomorrow. And I'm talking about cobalt violet as the weakest pigment. Maybe it's not the same one. PV14. I'm talking about that exact pigment in the video coming up tomorrow. And I'm not just saying very nice things about it. I'm saying that it's the weakest that I know of. Kind of surprised that this is what he chose. So rose madder, all the cadmium reds, cadmium orange, all the cadmium yellow, yellow ochre, chrome green, viridian, Prussian blue, cobalt blue. Oh yes, love it. French ultramarine and lead white. So this cyan mostly comes from the cobalt blue. Awesome, awesome. All right, sounds like a decent palette though. Sounds like a very decent palette. I don't think I'm gonna paint today. Actually, I just think I'm gonna study the approach and study the paintings and just ingest the information. That's what I'm gonna do today. All right, so pretty strong palette with pretty beastly pigments. Pigments with cojones, if you allow me this expression. It's not vulgar for me because I don't speak Spanish, so I don't know what it means. I do know what it means. But hey, hello Cody. So for studio portraits, he changed his palette entirely to one that included black, burnt umber, raw umber, rose madder, burnt sienna, raw sienna, yellow ochre, Naples yellow, vermilion, cobalt blue. Wow, I love this. I love this interior palette for studio portraits. Yeah, much more like what I would do in the type of approach that I would get. Occasionally, he would add orange, pink, or purple, but he usually emphasized strong tonal contrast over ambitious color effects for interior. Okay. I could not paint at all if I had to paint slowly. Every effect is so transient it must be rapidly painted. The great difficulty with large canvases is that they should be be painted as fast as a sketch. By speed only can you gain an appearance of fleeting effect. But to paint a 3-yard canvas with the same dispatch at one of the 10 inches is well nigh impossible. I hate darkness. Claude Monet once said that painting in general did not have light enough in it. I agree with him. We painters, however, can never reproduce sunlight as it really is. I can only approach the truth of it. Ah. With all wow, dropping bombs on his colleagues here. Another quote from Sorolla: with all its successes, the modern impressionistic movement has given us one discovery: the color violet is the only discovery of importance in the art world since Velázquez. When an artist begins to count strokes instead of regarding nature, he's lost this preoccupation with technique at the expense of truth, and sincerity is the principal fault I found in much of the work of modern painters. Gosh. Feels like being punched in the face by Mr. Sorolla here. Go to nature with no parti pris. You should not know what your picture is to look like until it's done. Just see the picture that is coming. Ah. See, this is typically what I never do. Well, this is typically the complete opposite way of my approach. Look at that. As far as outdoor work is concerned, a studio is only a garage, a place in which to store pictures and repair them, never a place in which to paint them. Bam! See, I said in the beginning of the stream that Sorolla is really the exact opposite the opposite type of artist. I'm the complete opposite of that. This is why I have so much to learn from this guy. And his approach, how he worked. So maybe next stream you'll see me completely transformed. How about that? How about I completely try to go out of my way? Would be fun. So his influences: Diego Velázquez, John Singer Sargent, Anders Zorn. Influenced by photography. Oh, the photography that he had. So we reminds us of something, the tuner fishermen. Interesting. Okay, interesting approach. Interesting, definitely a very great painter to learn from, for sure. Makes you think, right? Makes me think, definitely makes me think. This is kind of the older style. What else? What else can we see? So we've seen this one. Portrait, very simple portrait. Very masterfully painted. Really love how this goes. It looks so simple. Always looks so simple. Simplifying is actually super hard, super difficult. Hey, Sniper Whispers. Good evening. Sorolla clearly never lived in Northern Europe. Yep. Painting, let's say that painting sunlight when you live in northern Norway is tricky. Oh my god, emoji wall, how about that? Get ready people, emoji wall is starting.
Emoji wall unlocked. This is chaos. Seriously, we need to break YouTube
Steven.
with emojis.
Steven as well.
We have 1 minute. Let's go chat. We can do it. Let's go chat. Quick, spam emojis. We need to fill the screen. No time to waste.
Oh my god,
I'm serious.
I can't even select
we have
all
to
the
spam
emojis
in chat now before the timer runs out. Hurry up. Quick, let's go chat. We have to spam emojis in chat now before the timer runs out. No time to waste. I'm serious. Hurry up. Quick, let's go chat, let's go chat, let's go chat, let's go chat.
Oh my god, the tension is so high.
4, 3, 2, 1, stop.
And done. Congratulations everybody. We did an amazing emoji wall. Again, the delay, YouTube chat delay, always so awful. People just, I'm always the first to start because as the streamer, I got dibs on emoji wall. It's always, I learn the first one because I'm the first one to be notified on my computer. And I always like post, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 emoji messages before the first person starts because of the delay. We calculated the delay once. I think it was between 18 and 25 seconds, depending. As well. So much fun, yeah. Thanks, Cody. Thanks for waking us up. Emoji wall. Never gets old. Never gets old. Exactly. And we reached 103 likes. So congrats. We did it. We passed 100 likes. It's not always the case. So almost missed it. You got this one. You got this one, Kevin. And then you also have the wave of the people who got delayed by the ads, that usually they start spamming emojis a minute after it's done. Am I the only one imagining Steven twerk? I think you are. I think you are. Steven, what do you think about that? Okay. I think you didn't have Steven though. Yes, you don't have Steven, because Steven is here. Steven, what do you think?
My name is Steven and I am a text-to-speech voice.
Okay. You're a little low, Steven. Can you speak louder? Steven, are you there?
One of my colleagues was wearing sandals at work during Casual Friday last week. Frankly, I still don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, Steven is an old man, actually. It's a Da Vinci dude. Hey, by the way, while we're doing this, let's talk about what we're talking about, Steven. Let's have a little intermission. Since I'm not painting today, let's do challenge, the art challenge. Let's talk about hands, because we have lots of hands. Man, you guys went wild with the challenge this time. And here it is. So let me bring it here. Okay, you guys went wild. Art challenge, hands. Deadline was February 15, so perfect, it's done. It's finished. Can't paint hands anymore. This one by Near. Two hand studies. Nice, nice. If you have a late minute post, go ahead. Now is the time. Whip, been playing with this. I love the light effect. It's really cool. A little bit of a joint thing here, but great work, Joy. This one by Balsam with the flower, making a two themes out of one. Perfect, because the flower was next time, and continuing with hands sounds perfect. Look at this little setup here. Ah, what is this? Is this a painting box or is it something else? Is it like a little pochade that you put all everything inside when you're done. Is that it? Sounds cool. A fan art of Steven. We had already a fan art of Steven, and Steven is actually here. Whenever we have, you know, Steven is this little guy here. So art challenge. I feel like hands are hard, but at the same time very forgiving. Oh, really? Very rarely I see as an advice to focus on the fingernail. Yeah, but creating kind of Halloween hands. It's more forgiving, I admit. But making a realistic hand like that is less forgiving. Look at that. It's tricky. It's not forgiving at all. If you mess up the slightest angle in the fingers and all, man, it's tricky. Hey, somebody posted live by Jacques. This one's awesome. Well, I like everything about this composition, not just the hands, but the hands definitely make because they hide the face. They are the central subject here in this case, and but this composition is amazing. The pose is just great. It's working really well. And yeah, updated, and I think I'm done. Yeah, I love this light. Love these little light specks. What are these, like LED kind of light strings? We have a weird hand statue at my family's house. Funny. I didn't get to do any of Florence pro tips. Oh my god. So completely failed then. Some hand exercises in my sketchbook just to participate. I should paint some pretty soon. Yay. Hey, I know about this one. Wow, nice sketchbook, organized and all, with the, you know, a little reminder of the original piece, no? Man. Maybe hands are not the main character in here, but I think, well, okay, no, the hands are definitely a big part. You have to draw hands. That's one of the most tricky thing is the hands are never the main character in most work, except for this challenge here. But it's pretty rare that the hands are the main character. Most of the time you have, you know, a person, a face, figure, and then you have the hand. And you think, well, are the hands that important? Most of the time you don't necessarily focus on them, but you have to still focus a lot on them. You didn't expect to spend as much time, most of the time, on the hands, because if you want to make the entire thing work, you have to spend some time working on the hands properly. Otherwise, the rest is just going to look like a beautiful face with goofy hands, and it's unacceptable. So you have to spend way more time than expected on the hands. And yeah, that's often how it happens. So painting hands, drawing hands, always a very interesting skill. And in this case, yeah, the hand is almost the main subject, even though maybe it's the fairy here. Great light effect by Felicia. Love this. Love this. Musician hand. Oh, nice. Nice pen and ink. Wow. Jude making it much better than my own. that I did live actually. Great job, Jude. Rylan, always full of texture, almost hyper realistic, almost kind of Jonah Dry-ish texture. This one, great painting. Hands look pretty cool. Painting my own hand. Wow. Impressed. I'm impressed by what you can do with markers. I don't have good quality, you know, art markers like that, so never tried. Cheat submission by Cody. The close-up of the hands of the Mona Lisa. Last minute participation. Yeah, I know these hands. I know these hands. This one by Christopher on his great portrait, by the way, by Christopher. Really cool hands. And this one, oh, very good position, good texture. You can feel the age. The hands can really betray the age of a person, so you know, you can't lie with your hands. They are way more expressive and revealing than we think. And this one, pretty cool. Where is it? What is this? What is this place? Look at that. Still learning. What is kind of Paradise Hotel? Nice. But great drawing and great context photo. Really cool that you're having a great time here and enjoying some art. Damien, oh yeah, this statue by is it by Camille Claudel or is it by Rodin? I never remember. Can you spot the huge mistake? The index is too long. Last minute entry by Anna. Little kid's hand. Look at that. Look at that. Last minute, Anna. Great last minute submission. You were right on time. Right on time. Ah, yes. That's great, everybody. So, next theme. Go ahead. Go ahead. I leave it to you. Give me ideas. I'm gonna take the 4 first ideas and make a poll. Immediately. Effective immediately. Let's do that. Let's do that. Start a poll. Great work, although, and really keep it up. So first, light. Feet. Ew. Okay, you asked for it. The theme, loose painting. Okay. And candlelight. Okay, we already have light though. Bridge. Okay, so bridge. Alright, too bad, too bad, too bad. Feet? Now you asked for it. You asked for it. You asked for feet, you got your feet. I find feet, even though they are a great, you know, part of the human anatomy, very useful, but like very artistically ugly. feet. What I always like to do is look at the birth of Venus's feet. So always feet are kind of weird looking. I don't know if you knew about that. In the birth of Venus, Botticelli was a genius, but not the best at painting feet, apparently. Sorry, I'm trying to load the picture. Okay, it just doesn't want. Alright, he saved. Aha, got you. The kind of ugly feet though, for a perfect. Yeah, I like to, you know. I just have like, you know. I like to make fun of these little kind of sausage feet from time to time. Just, it's the only thing that I can see in Botticelli's work, which is otherwise absolute genius. But yeah, feet are ugly on their own if they're done right, and even more ugly if they're done wrong, and look very goofy by themselves. Like, and if they're not done right, yeah, they look very, very goofy. Chunky toes, exactly. Chunky toes. Alright, but Sorolla. Yeah, I've got to learn from this painter, definitely. From this one especially. Yeah, I think I would have so much to learn, especially me working from this is really so out of my way. But I find it fascinating. I'm always fascinated by painters who can make stuff that I think is so distant from my own approach. Man. Yeah, great work. Feet are part of the body that I hate for anyone. I'm fetophobiac? Is that a thing? Phobia, fetophobiac? Is that a thing? I don't mind feet, but whenever you're at the beach, if you can hide them under the sun, I'm always feeling better. Right, loose painting is winning so far. Please, whenever you're at the beach, hide your ugly feet under the sand so that everybody feels more welcome. Hey, light is coming up and people are actually voting for feet. Bridge, painting a bridge is tricky as well, man. But in the impressionist movement, you have lots of beautiful painting of bridge with this idea of paintings for a new era, painting, you know, the modern bridges, the iron bridges that they had, like more modern with all the iron framing and stuff, which there's a lot of that in the Impressionist movement. Alright, so apparently loose painting is winning. Any last minute votes? I don't think it could take it up from here, but it's just that not everybody has voted, but we're 60 and only 32 votes, so only half of the population has voted. It's like 50% has not voted. Is this democratic? Is this the kind of democracy that you want? Or do you want my authoritarian ruling? And I take over the vote and I decide that we're gonna paint feet. Or what's even more ugly than feet? Maybe nostrils from up close. Oh. Ew. Maybe belly button lint. That's a great subject. If you don't vote, someone is going to steal your voice. Let's get out and vote. Alright, so shall I close the votes? I think I am. Ready? 3, 2, 1. End vote. So the winner is loose painting. So yeah, it's going to be about loose painting. And I think I'm gonna use this illustration as the illustration picture for the challenge this week. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be great. All right. Remember, my friends, that next week we have Brooke, the amazing Brooke Cormier, with us. And she is going to rock the place, so you better be there and be on time and support and like and share on all your socials for the incredible Brooke from Canada. And we're gonna be painting, or I don't know what she's going to be doing, maybe drawing, whatever. It's gonna be a fun time hanging around. It's been a while since we've had a guest on the show. The last one was Alpi. And it's gonna be a fun one. Should I try the loose painting during Brooke's appearance? Oh man, no, I'm not gonna focus. If I try it when she's there, yeah, just I need to put something that I can do, do automatically in the background, like background focus. Because if I try to do this new approach while she's there, man, I'm gonna just mess it up completely. Because just interacting with a person, like having a conversation, is hard. And most of the time, whenever I have a guest, I always tell them, just pick any like simple painting that you want to do. Nothing, fancy. Don't try to take something that requires too much, brain power, and just choose something simple. That's what I always tell them. So I should do the same. Because to me, painting loose, painting like that, is not simple. In fact, for me, especially the way I've learned how to paint, the way I developed my approach, this is the trickiest thing. For some, it's easier. For me, it's way more tricky than the opposite. So yeah, it's going to be tricky, but getting out of your zone of comfort in any way, shape or form is always more mentally challenging. She'll be painting mushrooms. Yeah, she's been way into mushrooms recently. Painting shrooms, we're gonna be shrooming together. Yeah, she's very fun. I don't think it's inappropriate. She is really, like, she's not the worst to look at, definitely. No, I'm not painting today, Balsam. It was just a nice, you know, hangout session, just looking at paintings. Do not mention squirrels. Why? How? What's the story? Do not mention squirrels. I missed this one. I have tried to keep up with her videos, but maybe I missed this one. She always has like these little in her videos. She always has these little how would you say, kind of skits. Sometimes in the beginning. She's really fun. Is she squirrel phobic? Squirrel phobic? Nobody's squirrel phobic. Squirrels are the best. I love squirrels. Hi, Jeff. Yeah, right. See you, Cody. I think I'm going to leave you on this, by the way. So same thing. I'm gonna leave like that because yeah, no painting today. It was just fun analysis, talking about Sorolla. Just relaxed. I had some paint ready, but I prefer to really dive into a more you know, elaborate study and do only that later on. So for the next stream, it's going to work perfectly. And yeah, today was focusing on painting and talking with you guys. I'll see you for the next one, everybody. Thank you for being here. If you haven't liked, leave a like before you go, because it helps the stream. I'll see you for the next one. And as always, my friends, joy and inspiration to you. Bye-bye.